My most amazing artists. Today we're going to be making prints of indigo leaves. You are going to have a piece of paper that you write your name and class code on. You'll notice you have special brown and also green paint because those are the colors of the indigo plant. The leaves are green and a lot of the stems and the seed pods are brown. So today you are going to have leaves on your table and plants to look at to observe. We are going to be examining these before we go ahead and print. But once we do, you are going to pick up a piece of cardboard to make the stem. Now notice I am only dipping one side of the cardboard into the paint. That way the other side stays clean for my hands to touch. I'm going to cut off a little piece now so that I can have a smaller piece of cardboard to make the print for the stems. Notice I'm not painting with the cardboard or moving it back and forth. I dip it in the paint and then I press it down once. I'm going to look with my magnifying glass really closely to look at how I can make this indigo leaf look realistic. I think that there are at least 6 of those little stems coming out from the big stem. So I'm going to go ahead and print those down, and they looked like they were mostly green. So I'm going to do mostly green for those. If I looked up close, I would see that. If the plant is brown, you could go ahead and add some brown in there. Then I'm going to take my sponge. This sponge is to print the leaves. I dip it in the paint and then I press it down. Once I press it down, I can't slide it around and I have to pick it up. So I press down and pick up, and that's my print. I'm going to be very mindful about where I am putting my leaves, making sure that they're in the realistic place of where the leaves really are attached to the stem on the real indigo plant. That way, it looks realistic when it goes into the museum for our indigo exhibit. You are in charge of making some botanical paintings, which means a painting of a plant. I'm going to press those leaves down wherever I see that they are up close. Now you'll notice that clearly this piece of paper is much bigger than that little stem of the indigo leaves, and that's okay. We're making a magnified version of these plants so people can really see those details up close. So it's important, and it's up to you, that you are looking at that plant closely and making those just bigger for everybody to see. So if I see that there's some brown in the leaves, I could dip a little bit in brown and press it back down. Always making sure that when I press down, I'm not having too much paint on it, but also enough that it still makes a print. Always leaving the paint just on one side of the sponge, otherwise I would pick it up and get paint all over my hands. We will not be using the sink today, only art wipes when we're done. When I am done with that, I'm going to look even more up close at those leaves and add some details. I see that there is a line in between each of the leaves that divides it in half. I'm going to use a little bit of brown so that you can see that line in between those leaves. That's what connects it to the stem. It's the vein of the leaves where it gets all of its food and water that runs up through the plant. That's how it survives and lives. After I add that detail, I'm going to think about what other kinds of details I can put on my plant print to make sure it looks like indigo. When I look very carefully at one of these indigo branches, I see that there's a lot of these little brown pods. They almost look like they're little old bananas in here. Let me show you one of the whole stems. There it is. Some are green, some are brown. Now those pods, if I peel off one, are actually where the seeds are. So if I break one of these open, it'll get all these little black seeds out of it. That is how I would grow more indigo if I wanted to plant it and grow more of this plant. So if I want to make some seed pods, I'm going to take out a cap. This glue cap, which is an orange cap, I'm going to use to print and make the shape of the seed. To make that shape of the seed, I am pressing 1/2 of that cap into the paint, not the whole thing, or it would print a circle. And the seed pods are not in the shape of a circle, they're in a shape of a half circle, kind of like a banana, a little bit curved. So I'm going to attach those to the stem wherever I see them really on the plant. Then, when I'm all done, I'm going to bring my painting to the drying rack and also make sure my name's on it. Artists always sign their name in the bottom right corner, probably with a thin Sharpie or pencil when you're done. Also write your class code. That way when it's hanging in the museum, it'll be easy to find and everybody knows just who made it. All right, awesome artists, I cannot wait to see your botanical paintings of indigo. And when you are done, put it on the drying rack and make sure you clean up your hands and area with an art wipe. All right, awesome artists, I can't wait to see your paintings.